will lead people away from God. What is a powerful we're surrounded with all kinds of powerful temptations that will turn us, or turn humanity to sin. Like what? Characters and behavior. Okay, but what else? Can you find them? Everywhere now. But not there. You got it. In the internet, right? Listen, school teaches it now. TV is always provided. You know, when you go to work, a lot of it's sexual. Turn. This even movies. You know, you can, you, it's every turn, it's there. And he's weird. And people come up with ways to these is it. Through more magic. Through um, I can't say what metaverse, isn't it? Metaverse. There's a thing called metaverse. I went, huh? Yeah, that's Facebook. It's a program where they make up these worlds that you can go in these worlds and pretend that you're there. So you can make up whatever fantasy world you want, and you can put yourself in and be there. I believe one of these days, sooner than later, if not already, they're going to make robots where a man can get a robot and do whatever he wants with the robot, right? And no commitment, no baby, and have all the pleasure, no emotional attachment, right? I believe that's coming or already here. Japan has that, right? So you can get this robot and have all the sexual experience. Well, this metaverse, I think this metaverse is you can go into your own fantasy and put yourself there and live in this fantasy. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. So I believe you said Japan has these robots, these female robots. You can get one, right? No emotional attachment to it. You can whatever fancy and whatever perversion you can do with the robot. So thinking about God says to Adam, thinking about women. We're going to talk about women here. God says to Adam, Adam, I'm going to make you a perfect helpmeet. She's going to be perfect. She's going to do whatever you want. You want it to cook, she'll cook. You want it to clean, you clean. She'll do whatever you want. So, so Adam said, what is it going to cost me? God said, it's going to be a high cost. It's going to cost an arm and a leg. So Adam says, oh, come on, God. Do with a rib. So we got the rib. So I believe, I guess that didn't go over well. I believe this age experienced the level of availability that that no other age has experienced. It's right there, right in front of us. We can turn to perversion anywhere. You go to a sports game and it's sex. You go to Stop and Shop and it's sex. Everything is sex. Perversion is all around like never before, and it's because of the computer. Because of the computer. So we're going to look at Samson's temptation. So what was Samson's problem? What was Samson's problem? Lust. His problem was lust. And we can be hard with Samson, but how many men have that problem? Why do you think pornography sells? The 16 that got Samson's attention. And we're gonna read 16, chapter 16, Judges 16:1. It better be a good one.
Girls today, right? They don't have much to the imagination the type of clothing they wear. It's practically like painted on. Oh, on that first view. But then after, if you go in for a second helping and stay there for 5 minutes, then there's the problem.
So the first time you can look, right? Because she goes in front of you. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know something? And she can be beautiful. She can be beautiful. Women are beautiful, man. Women are beautiful, but when you keep on looking and then follow her, you got a problem. You got a problem. And I want to tell you something here. Every one of us have lusted from one degree or another. Some more than others. And maybe even today you have that problem. And if you say, oh, I never lust, you got a problem. You got a problem. You know what? Yeah, so you kill me someone, you lust. Oh no, you're probably the worst pervert than most. That's what I, you come up to me and say, oh no, I'm clean, I don't. Then I'm saying to myself, you're a secret kind of guy. You want to look good, but your mind is somewhere bad. Every one of us here as men lusted one way or another, some more than others, but each and every one of us, yes? If you say no, we'll make a time for you and I can counsel. It's the truth. You know that you can conquer it with God and said, oh no, oh, I don't look. No, you're probably a double, triple, quadruple looker. Yeah, it's the truth, man. It's the truth. It's the truth. And it's the truth. I want us to think. We're going to go slowly, and I want us to think. So Samson had a problem. The problem was, and guess what? Every single one of us, at one time or another, yeah. And someone said, you know something? Someone said, the older you get, right, your hormones lower, so you have less of a problem. Listen, your hormones might get lower, but your mind is still active. It's still there. You got to control even your hormones are dead. You got to make sure this mind is dead to it, because your hormones can be dead and your mind can be alive. So let's go. I'm going to read this verse. So we're going to look at Samson, who had his eyes on a couple of women. Okay, in Judges 16:1. Okay, I'm going to read this. I want you to read it. Okay, I want you to pay attention. And here it is. Okay, here we go. Judges 16:1. Ready? And there's a problem off the bat in this verse. Right in this verse, there's a problem that most of us overlook. Let's read it. Then went Samson to Gaza and saw there a harlot and went to her. What's the problem there? Good job. Good job. That's excellent. He should have never went to Gaza. Why?
Because he had sexual relations.
Because if you look at Israel, the tribe of Dan is right here. Right next to Dan is where the Philistines live. And Gaza is in the territory of the Philistines. Dan is here and Gaza is way down here. He had to leave his tribe. Went out of it. We missed that. He went out of his way, traveled through the land of the Philistines into Gaza to get this woman in the enemy's territory. So this guy went a way to sin. Isn't that true with men? They'll go out of their way. They'll travel miles, put themselves. This guy, he couldn't find a woman in his tribe. In his tribe, Dan, how many tribes are there? 12. If he didn't like a woman in his tribe, he had 11 other tribes to look for a woman. But it was he wanted to go to the enemy's territory and have sex with the enemy. And from that is in the enemy's territory. All right. So, what does that show about Samson's character?
He was pulling for the great livestock, them all over.
So morally, he was a giant. What was he? Morally, he was weak. He was weak. Weak. Now we know Samson is supposed to be strong, but he's weak. Someone said, Samson, strong enough to strangle a lion, could not strangle his lusts. Burst the chains of his enemies, could not break the cords of his lusts. Burned the crops of others, but burned in lust because of a woman. He was famous for what? What was Samson famous for what? Huh? His strength. We're going to read that, right? His strength. Now, we don't even imagine how strong he is. But in these two verses, if we dig, it'll show us how strong this guy was. So read it. The first saw that he went out of his way to sin. He went into the enemy's territory where he had 12 tribes that he could find any woman for him, but he was a harlot. Judges 16:2. And it was told the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him in and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city. And were quiet all the night, saying, in the morning shall kill him. That's the Philistines, right? Now listen to this. It's incredible. Lay till midnight and took the and the two posts and went away with them, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders and carried them up to the top of an hill that is before Hebron. Do you ever hear the story? But you look at this verse, right? And you uprooted a gate of a city that's incredible. I went to Portugal, visit Bob Mello, and before you went into his house, he had a big wall. It must have been 15 feet high or whatever, and he had a gate. The gate was gigantic. It was big. So this guy uprooted of a city. Well, they used to close these gates so nobody could go in. So if there was going to be war or trouble, or they would shut these things down. Okay, and you ever hear a story? Your grandfather or your grandpa would say, when I was a kid, I walked through a foot of snow. I walked about 10 miles uphill. Huh? Both ways. Listen, this is what Samson did. He carried the gates 30 uphill. So you got that in your notes, right? So what I'm gonna teach you is you're gonna tell me, hey, you know your stuff. So let me tell you, okay? So he carried the gate uphill 38 miles, 38 miles. So I went to search, what's the distance? 38 miles. Listen, uphill, okay? So I wanted to figure how big this gate was because, right? They told me how big the gate was. I'm not going to tell you how big the gate was, because I can't believe it. Cannot believe how huge this gate was. It's incredible. He has this gate on his shoulders. He's walking uphill 37 to 38 miles. And I says, how heavy is this? So I found out the gate weighed 4 tons. How many pounds is that? I want the strength of Samson. I crave strength of Samson. Carry a city gate, ripped it from the walls, ripped it, put it on his shoulders, walked up a hill. Some of us can't even walk up those steps without being. That's true. You can here. You walk up the steps. You're gonna at the top. This guy took 8,000 pounds, put it on his back, and walked up 38. That's an expression of his strength. One of the greatest feat of strength in you. What was Samson doing? That's a question, guys. Wake up. What were you going to say? What was you going to say? He was upset, but that's the answer. What was it? He is mocking them. He's mocking them because they want to kill him, right? They want to get rid of him, right? And he's mocking them and telling them, listen, guys, I just ripped. You've been all night waiting for me. Your gate that weighs 8,000 pounds. 8,000 pounds was the first 4 tons. And I brought it into Hebron. What are you guys going to do? He's mocking them. I will love. Come on, guys. Wouldn't you want to love to have the strength of Samson? Huh? Oh, man, I would. Yeah. Some of us say that. Pastor George would say, hey, Pastor, you go get him. But right, get that verse? Will you ever think about that? First, he's in the enemy's camp. Second, he takes a gate that's 8,000 pounds and he's going up a hill, 37 miles. He's saying, in your face, in your face. Wow. How many of us walk around, we take a walk in the morning to exercise? What do we, after half a mile, we like get back in our car and drive home? Pastor George ministers here, right here at the Baptist Church, and he wants to take his car across the street. And this guy was like going from here to Brockton. Imagine that, with 8,000 pounds. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. That's incredible. That's incredible. Now let's go to 4. The priority of Samson's demise. Judges 16:4. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. Again, in the enemy's territory. What is he doing? He has enough women in his tribe to find some territory. Now let's listen. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 people. We read that. We read that and we go to the next verse and we don't stop and think. How much money? Wait a minute. Yeah, money. Lots of money. How much? Lots of money. What's a lots of money? Okay, let's see. 10 shekels of silver was a year's wage for a man. I mean, a year's wage. 10 shekels was a year's wage. So 1,100 would be if wage. 1,100 shekels would be what? Huh? 110 years. How many shekels did she get? No, no, no. Read the verse. The verse will tell you. See, that's why we read the verse. We bypass stuff. Verse will tell you how many shekels.
Because more than 150.
So they say there was five Philistine lords. So it was more than one Philistine lord. So it was 5,500 shekels of silver. It's a lot of money, Ray. That's a lot. So he had up his head. Delilah became the tool in the hands of the Philistines to take Samson down. Why do you think they employed a woman?
When you train your mind with how much better. Is that interesting?
Wait. Just let me go to you, John. You can tell me what you need to tell me. John, they really tried to tackle him. They couldn't. He beats 1,000 with a jawbone, right? They see him take foxes and burn the thing. They just saw that this guy took 8,000 pounds on his shoulders up a hill. They knew they couldn't take him by force, but they knew he loved women. Oh, if they didn't know he loved women, who knew? Who else? Satan. Satan knew. But Philistines knew that down by strength. They tried, but they knew, right? They knew he's in harlot. He's with this harlot in Gaza. Now we're going to get Delilah. We're going to get Delilah, and Delilah is going to find out the secret of Samson, because Samson's weakness is women. So get rid of her. Delilah, you know what Delilah, you know what it means? Her name means seduction. And she's excited to bring him down. Why do you think you want Samson to be destroyed?
We can have it.
They make him look, they make one man. You just think about it. Think about it. We just read the stories, you don't think about it. How was it an army after the Philistines? Was it an army after the Philistines? No, it was what? One man. One man. And I don't think he looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, don't describe how he looked, but I don't think he was like 6'7" and ripped. I think he was an ordinary man, and his power came from who? God. So he used this ordinary man, right? Man, not an army. One man to degrade the Philistines. They can't take it. They want this guy out. They can't handle one guy. The Philistines had weapons. They made iron. They invented taking iron and making it into weapons. They had weapons. Lords, they have the weapon, and this guy is knocking us out with a jawbone. That's kind of degrading, isn't it? It is. That's kind of degrading. So this guy, we're gonna get rid of this guy. This guy just makes us look bad. Does that make sense? Makes sense, right? The persistence in Samson's. So read this, and I want to ask you questions as we read. Let's read Judges 16:6. And Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mayest be bound to afflict thee. Did you get that? You know she's telling him, okay, just keep that thought. Okay, don't answer. No. Okay, wait. Let me get through, okay? I know you're dumb. You're like a racehorse. Okay, right? That don't make sense already. And I'm going to one. And Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green withs cords that were never dried, then I will be weak and be as another man. So the Philistines bring Delilah the cords, and Delilah wraps cords around him, okay? That's 7 and 8, okay? And verse 9. Now when men lieth in wait, abiding in the chamber, as she said unto them, the Philistines be upon thee. Samson and he break the withs, the cords, as threads of tow is broken when it is touched the fire, so his strength was not known. Okay? So, and Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou mockest me, and tell me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mayest be bound. Then he goes, so he goes, hey, take the new ropes and wrap them around me. That will do it. So the first time is cords, 7 cords. The next time is ropes. So guess what he does? He breaks the ropes, right? Now let's go to, so it's twice. Let's 13. And Delilah said to Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou weavest the seven locks of what? Okay, so he went from 7 cords. Now we're going to 7 locks. The 7 locks are what? His hair. So he's going from cords. Okay? He says, hey, you put these cords. Hey, you put these ropes. Hey, you take my hair and my hair, if thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with a pin and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awakened out of the sleep and went away with the pin of the beam and with the web. So it's a weaver shuttle. I don't know how big this thing is, but I know, George, when you worked at Duro, when they had fabrics, those beans that had bars and the material or color, they were huge, right? And when you went in a dye house, you cut the cloth, and if you trapped, you could die, right? So those trees were humongous. So I don't know how big this was, but it was play to him. I want you to notice the progression. He went from 7 cords, 7 ropes, new ropes, 7 cords, new ropes, to 7. Take my locks, take my hair, play with my hair, and weave into a weaver shuttle. Weave it, and that's where the strength is. Interesting. Okay. Said unto him, how hast thou say I love thee, when thy heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thou liest. Okay. So, strength. Discover the strength um, from from Samson. Okay, she fails. But what is happening here? What those three times? She's getting closer and closer and closer. That's interesting. It's interesting. In each attempt, Samson is revealing something about his nature. Seven locks, my hair. So as he spends time with her, he's revealing to her slowly but surely where his strength is coming. With Delilah is getting close. Now the Philistines have no clue where his secrets, where his strength comes from, do they? Philistines think it's some kind of amulet. There's got some kind of charm. He's got right. They don't believe in Jehovah. They don't believe in God. So they believe it's got to be some. He's got some kind of little thing in his pocket where he gets this energy from. That's what they think, right? And so here's the question. The first verse that I read, she asks him, "Where do your, where does your strength come from?" It don't make sense. Why is, I mean, what's the problem there, right? Shouldn't Samson like be concerned, right? Shouldn't that arouse Samson's um curiosity? Shouldn't he be discerned? But he doesn't. He's not concerned at all. He should have. If I had super strong and I knew, hey, where does your strength come from? That should have put red flags. Bang. Why is Samson, didn't he even say Samson? Why? Huh?
There's no trip to him on that. He didn't think he was 20, he was old.
Bang. That's the thing. Delilah. A gate that weighed 8,000 pounds and up a hill. You kill a thousand more these guys. You know. See what I have seen. They're going down. Never seen me doing that. Forget. Then you hear what they did, and you say, "What?" Because they thought they were invisible, right? They thought that they were invincible. And what was Samson's problem? It was more than lust at this time. He has lust, okay? But at this time, why he does? Where does your strength come from? And he doesn't and it doesn't really shake him up. What's his problem? He's got pride. You got it. Now turn to Proverbs 16:18. You're on track. Good job. Are you one of my deacons? That's why you're good. 16, 16, 16, 18. Read it. It's playing game, right? Hampton is playing the game, okay? And he's going to win. Oh, game. Playing that game, he's going to be destroyed. Thinks he's invincible. He thinks there's no way. Yes. What do you see?
God's tremendous ability to restrain, allowing it up to that. He, Murphy, still gave Sam time though.
God is in control of everything. God even uses horrific things to his glory. He can use someone's mess up and turn it around and use it for his glory. Look, he does it all the time. Okay? We're all mess ups, one way or another. He can take what, hey, you're done. And God can take it and use it for glory. So God is in control of everybody's life here. He knows exactly what's going to happen, what can you take and not take. He'll take your failures, and if you repent, God's mind is beyond our comprehension. We can't understand all of it. We as humans try. I'm grasping a little bit, but when we get to Him, we're going to be overwhelmed when we see that power, that He knows everything. I mean, at times the world, okay, the world, the world will end. This earth will end and become new. Let me say that. But God uses whatever in His story. The Antichrist is 100% what? Good? 100% evil. Is the Antichrist in God's? Can you comprehend that? 100% evil. Satan is God's devil. He's the one that made the angel, and he knew the angel was going to fall. Figure that out. Can you? No. That's why. Listen, not okay. That's why we got to obey and surrender. You know what he's looking for? Not rebels. He's looking for obedience. Just do what he says. That's it. That's what he's looking for. Just obedience. And and it shows me God's grace, how he still used a rebel to help the nation. But the rebel at the end repents. The rebel knew. He repents at the end. We're going to get there next week, maybe. But as we go on, with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death. 17. And he told her all his heart, and said unto her, there has not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like. And it took him down. Besides stupidity, we're all stupid. We are. I mean, please. I said that once, and someone. Yeah, we we can be foolish.
He went away from the law.
Okay, but what took him? Was it logic that took him down? He lusted away his logic. How many men do that? How many lusted away their logic? God says, look this woman from the beginning is yours. From death, whatever, sickness, death, you vow, stay with her. You look at another woman, she gives you a little look, and you think, oh, that's the one no, it's that one. I really don't love this one no more. You know something? You know something? If you got married young and that love wasn't there, guess what? Learn how to love your woman. Amen? If you got married when you were 17, 18 years old because you got her pregnant and then your father said, marry her, right? And I really didn't like her. You know something? If you got together, married under God, you know what God says? Love her. Love her. Love. Oh, my wife's getting older. She's getting a little wrinkly. There's you have those. She's getting little rolls in her stomach. Guess what? Love the rolls on her stomach. Love her. I told my wife, we're on. He lusted away his logic. He took vowels. Here's the logic. The logic is the vowels. But he took the logic, he put them there, and he lusted. How many men do that? You're logical. Then they get cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They take the logic, they put it aside, and they do something stupid. Yes? All the time. Compromise his convictions. Let me give you an example. You go to Dunkin' Donuts, you buy a coffee, and there's a beautiful blonde on the other side. Flirts with you. You just spoiled my whole thing, man. Why do you do this to me? Why? Why don't I get paid to do this? Why don't you let me finish it? I'm going to this week. And I'm finishing the story. You come next week, and she flirts with you because you think you're handsome. You come back again, and you start flirting with her. And then you leave, and you realize you're starting flirting with her. Then you come to a realization you need to go to another Dunkin' Donuts. Go to Sip and Dip. Go to Sip and Dip. That's right on South Street. That's that's true. You get you get out of Dodge. Then listen. Then Pastor George said, then you're stupid. Then you are a fool. You are. Listen. Samson. How many times before Samson fell? Right? Listen, I told you she flirts with me. She flirts with me. I flirt back. Time to leave. Samson, if I go back again, then that's trouble. So Samson was there one time, two times, three times. What happened? The first time, what should have happened? He should have. Oh dear. If of temptation, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be taken down. Go back. Dunkin' Donuts. I know where it's at. I know where she's at. And I go back there and flirt with her. Guess who's an idiot? Guess who? Three strikes and you're out. He was in a base, and he wasn't even a baseball player. He knew. Come on, guys. Let's be men. When you know a snake. You know he already knew, but he thought he was. Remember, mom and dad said, "You special, Samson. Samson, you're gonna grow up special. You're gonna do mighty things for the Lord." And he started thinking. He says, "Nobody's gonna take me down. Look, I just took down 1,000 Philistines. Down. And come on, how many of you can pick up an 8,000 and walk 37 miles? If you could do that, you would be like Samson. You would think, come on, you got a problem with me? Come on, let's go in the back. Let's take care of it. Yeah, sure, come on. This is what, see, what is the lesson here? The lesson here, if you stay in a situation that's constantly bombarding you with temptation, guess what's going to happen? You will cave. You're working with a secretary. And the secretary goes, right? He goes, know what you need to do? Your job, and find another job. or tell your boss, put me in another area, because sooner or later, nice perfume, and she walks around so you can smell it. If you keep on in that area, we're gonna go down, down. Oh. Started with temptation, it's gonna break your defense, isn't it? It is. It is. Myself, I'm going on a diet. I'm not eating chips anymore. And there's a bag of chips in my counter or in my cubby. What should I do with that bag of chips? Give it to. I open the bag of chips, the bag of chips is there. The next day, the bag of chips is there. The next day, the bag of chips there. And you know what I say? One chip won't hurt. I open the bag of Frito-Lay, and that smell, I'm strong enough to eat one chip and I'm going to go back on my diet. Guess what happened? It's gone and I'm off my diet. It is. It happens all the time. Listen, this tells me that first flirtation is dangerous. I have learned, maybe when I was younger, some can say, I'm just going to flirt and that's it. And I said to myself, oh no, one of these days I'm going to cross the line. If somebody winks, no problem. I am not going to flirt because flirtation is dangerous. Because temptation can wear you down. Yes? In anything. In anything. You know the word? Flee, flee, flee. What your life? Pride of sin's demise. Okay, so who don't look in the word of God. Who shaved Samson's hair off? Yes. It wasn't Delilah. Delilah tied her up. Delilah tied him up the first time. Delilah tied him up the second time. Delilah, whatever. But Delilah was caressing him. You're beautiful. You're nice. Good, Samson. Nice, Samson. And Samson. And then Philistine came in and cut his hair off and gave her the money. All right, so let's see. 18. And her all his heart. She sent and called the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up this once, for he had showed me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand. And she made him sleep upon her knees. And she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to what? Wife abuse. I mean, it wasn't a wife, but that's abuse. She shot at him to see if he's strong, Oh, I'm going to give you shapada. Bang! Right? And afflicted, and his strength went from him. Okay, and she said to the Philistines, "Be upon thee, Samson, upon," and she said, "The Philistines, be upon thee, Samson." And he awoke out of a sleep and said, "I will go out as the other times before and shake myself." And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him. When I read that. Was in his dedication, in his dedication for the Lord. He gave that up. He was special. And because he was special, this was an outward sign of an dedication that he gave up for a woman. I shared this. I don't know if I should, Well, we'll go to counseling later. I met Rachel. Rachel's beautiful. Rachel has blue eyes. Rachel's blonde. Woman. Love woman. I remember counseling with him, and I don't know why he said this. And he said this. I don't know how long they've been married. Don't tell my wife. A few years. They've been married a few years. He said, Donald, make sure Rachel doesn't take the place of God. Because I was in my 30s, and I wanted to find a woman. And so it was interesting. Rachel was that close. She was that up there. But God has done things with Rachel in my life to realize that God is number one. So this guy was committed. This guy lost because of a woman. The dedication and commitment. He was telling me, you're going to get married. He knew I was pursuing to be a preacher. Better not put her in first place and God in second place. It's not going to work. You make sure God has given you her, but number one, I took care of that. I'm not going to go into it. God made me true because I thought my wife was. I was like, God Google for her. I see that he is number one because he's number one. We have a relationship. But this guy, let the specialists go for a woman. Beside no, first one was a harlot because God, she was a harlot, right? Delilah, what kind of woman was Delilah? Philistine. She was part of the enemy. She was the enemy. So this is not sensible. Now God wanted Jews to marry Jews. Right? That's what he wanted, to marry within, not without. So the without wouldn't ruin what they have. And this guy has something special, and he goes really. You know what this teaches me? We got to dedicate ourselves to the Lord. I mean, this is a woman, okay? But don't let anything break that. When we promise something or dedication, we got to keep that. We gotta keep that dedication and that commitment to the Lord. Okay, we go on. But the Philistines took him, and what did they do? And put out his eyes and brought him down where? He went into the enemy's camp, and guess what? I'm going to bring you now to the enemy's camp. That's what you want? That's what you're going to get. You're in the enemy's camp. And bound him with fetters and brass, and he did grind in the prison house. He let the spirit go, or his commitment with those. The things he what? Okay. The Lord didn't even know. And it's of his dedication. And it was because of his dedication that he did great works, but he gave that up, and the Lord. So we can be right. Is temptation something new? No, it's not new. It's not. Does every human experience it? Yes. Does every human go through? And maybe some way. No. It's in the Bible that shows us that because of temptation or whatever, they sinned and they failed. And okay, so David, these Samson failed. Show me some guys in the Old Testament that sinned and failed, and they Saul. Okay, who else? Most every guy in the Old Testament, right, failed. Did Noah failed? Did Noah failed? Yeah, wait, okay, you're warming up. Did Noah fail? How? Uh, there was. What did Abraham's failure? Huh? He lied. Uh, Elijah. Yeah, work for you. There's nobody else. And God says, shut up. I got 7,000. Did he fail? Miserably. And he was a king. And you know what God said? God said, that's the kind of guy. That's the guy after my own heart. You want to know why? Because that guy understood repentance and he understood failure, but he understood. He cried out, don't spirit. He knew. Did Jonah fail? Yeah, he was a rebel. Did Peter fail? Yeah. Did John Mark fail? We're going in the Old New Testament. Did John Mark fail? How? He did fail. Did John Mark fail? Yes. You're going to Ezra and I'm in John Mark. How did he fail? Martyred. And Paul. Did Jesus fail? No. Jesus never failed. But it's interesting. Let me ask you a question.
Now, when you give it,
Hey, okay, temptation is not sin, right? No. Was Jesus tempted? But he never sinned. Why? He never gave in. Now listen to this. We're going to end, but listen to this. Listen, okay, and go slow. Temptation is the tempter looking through the keyhole in the room where you are living. Sin is opening the door, letting him in.
1 Corinthians 15.
Was that good? Temptation is the tempter looking through the keyhole in the room where you are living. Sin is opening the door and letting him in. That's what sin is. You open that door. So we can escape temptation, can we? There's a way out. What's the way out? Could Samson walk out of all his temptations? He could have, right? Where is your escape found? In Christ. And how it's through Christ, right? It's through Christ. But how can you be strong in the temptation and you know it's through Christ? How does that happen? We're all going to get tempted, but we can resist that temptation. It's through Christ. How does knowing that, but how do you develop that? What is it? Yeah. Okay. So you go to the word, you know it's the word, right? You know it's the word. You keep your eyes on him, right? You want to know how you get strong in, huh? Prayer. It's having a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. It's loving him more than anything. It's a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. Joseph, was he tempted? Was Joseph tempted? With who? A beautiful made up. Now, when ladies put makeup on, don't they transform and become beautiful? You, this Potiphar's wife must have been some hot stuff. She had some makeup on. She had smelled good, looked good. And why didn't Joseph sin? Most men, if that woman came by us, we would have tell her secret.
Want them to sin against them.
There you go. See, when we against our wife or whatever, it's because we don't value. That's why we don't value her opinion or value her. I'm gonna do what I want. Who are you? It's not worth in the Lord Jesus Christ. We need to make him the love of our life. Does that sound weird? Listen, we need to make the Lord the love of our life. Does that sound weird? It shouldn't, right? It shouldn't. We should. We should make Jesus the love of our life. The only reason Joseph didn't sin is because he had a relationship with God.
No, we should have heavenly love and anything like. We should have a heavenly respect.
They went counseling with Pastor Burt. For whatever reason, Pastor Burt said, make sure we're doing a marriage thing, and out of the blue, hey, Donald, out of the blue, um, soon to be my wife, make sure she's not number one and Jesus is number one. And that stuck with me 30 some years ago. And everything in our lives, Jesus got to be number one. Jesus is going to be the love of our life. If Jesus is the love of our life, will he give us, huh? When you make him number one, I look at my life, God has taken care of every desire that I wanted. There's only one thing left. Huh? What is it? No. But desire, every little dream that I asked God, and I said, God, whenever you want, but you're the key. He's given me everything. So guys, as we leave, we can resist temptation. How? By making Jesus the love of your life. No, no money, no nothing. Just when you make Jesus the love of your life, we can withstand any temptation. Is that true? Okay, let's. Help me this. I don't care how old we are here. I don't care how young we are here. Ever help us to fall in love with you more and more and more. As time goes on, more and more and more. And the only way, Lord, for us to fall in love with you, we gotta learn how beautiful and awesome that you are. Help us to desire you, and you will help us fight any mission.